Hello and welcome to Cupcake Addiction, where today I'm going to be showing you how to make this gorgeous chocolate Easter basket using your giant cupcake mold. If you haven't already checked out my channel MyCupcakeAddiction, or if you're not subscribed, check out the link below for our Easter playlist if you're looking for some more great sweet treat ideas for your Easter table. The things that you'll need for today's tutorial: you'll need a couple of paintbrushes and a couple of spoons, a spatula, a knife, a pastry brush, a bit of wax paper, and I've also got two of these long marshmallow ropes, which you can generally pick up, especially around Christmas and Easter. I've got a cake board and a silicone giant cupcake case. You will need a silicone one for this. And then I've got my Easter eggs or my Easter candy inside. I'm using some melted white chocolate, some melted green candy melts, some melted pink candy melts, and some melted yellow candy melts. So let's get started. The first thing that you want to do is you want to pour about a centimetre or so of those green candy melts into the bottom of your giant cupcake case. Smooth them out with your spoon, and then taking one of your paintbrushes, you're going to give it kind of a grassy effect. So you can see I'm just pulling it up the sides and trying to get some little kind of wisps of green candy melt at all different levels. This is actually showing you how to make a really gorgeous patterned giant cupcake case, perfect for these Easter baskets, but also really perfect for dressing up your giant cupcakes just that little bit more. Now you want to take some of that green candy melt and you can just pick it up out of the centre and put around the outside every 2 or 3 inches, just a little stem for one of your flowers. Something a little bit like that. Take your yellow now, and you don't need to wait for that green to set, and just above the green, so leaving a little gap, you just want to put a little yellow circle, and that's going to be the centre for each of your little spring flowers. You want to put that off into the fridge now and let that layer set before we add on our petals. Once your little centres and stems are set, it's as simple as just taking some of that pink or whatever other colour you like and just painting on some nice big flowery petals. It really feels like we're in art class right now, but everything's edible. Alright, so just continue around and you can change up the colours of these flowers. You can also change up the pattern. So if you wanted to make, for example, a polka dot cupcake case, if you wanted to put a different design or a different sort of a pattern into your giant cupcake case for a different style of basket or a different effect, you could use this for so many different designs. So I've got all of my flowers all painted. I'm going to pop that now back into the fridge and let that completely set. Now that your design's set, pour in about half of your melted white chocolate, and then I'm using my spatula just to gently drag it up the sides and try to just go over it once each time you drag it up, so you're not going back and forth over the design. I should also mention your melted white chocolate should not be hot or even warm. Just melted, but room temperature is what you want, so that you don't melt any of that design underneath and cause it to run. Back off into the fridge to set. While that's setting, we can start making our little handle. So you're going to use 2 of these marshmallow ropes, but you need to cut the ends off both of them to expose the sticky marshmallow underneath to give them a better stick. Dip one end into that melted white chocolate, stick them together, and then spoon a generous amount of the white chocolate on top to act like our glue. I actually found it was best to lay them out flat for that centre join to set. Once the centre join's set, you want to take your pastry brush and we're just going to brush on the white chocolate on both sides. Be careful not to pull your 2 pieces apart. They are going to be a bit fragile, and the reason that I'm brushing it on is so that I keep that kind of rope look of those 2 marshmallow ropes. You can see I'm rolling it over now so that I've definitely got chocolate on the back, and then I'm actually going to shape it into a rough basket handle shape. Don't worry if it's not the exact size of your giant cupcake case, because it is going to be a little bit flexible, although you do want to be careful with it. The melted white chocolate is really just giving it the stability to be able to stand up on its own. Now that your giant cupcake is out of the fridge, you want to pour the remainder of your white chocolate in, and working really quickly here because your case will be cold, you want to just apply a second coat using your spatula. So you want to make sure that you're dragging it all the way up to the top of the case and that you can't see any of that red silicone through that white chocolate. Put it back in the fridge to set, and once it's completely set, you want to gently peel down. So you'll see here first I release all of the edges, and then I go back and actually peel down really carefully and really gently that outer silicone case. It will come out quite easily here, but you do want to make sure that you peel it initially very gently. Out comes your gorgeous little patterned case, a little bit of melted white chocolate down on your board to act like a glue, and then you've got your case glued to the board, which is going to give it the stability, and you'll be able to pick it up and move it around with ease. Look at that beautiful little flower pattern. Now you just want to position your little Easter eggs, Easter bunnies, whatever you've decided to fill your Easter basket with. And you just want to make sure that you've got a really nice assortment of colour going on in there. So make sure that you're positioning, you don't have all blue eggs on one side and all pink eggs on the other side, because you really want it to kind of look like that basket of Easter spring goodness. Take a nice flat knife and just use it to sort of slide around underneath the base of your handle so that you're not having to break the handle, and you can be really gentle with it. And then you just want to use either a knife, or you can just break off any excess edges with your fingers just to neaten it up so that you don't have any of those little kind of thin bits of extra chocolate around the edges. Once you've neatened up your handle, you just want to take it now and you want to just make a little bit of space on either side of your giant cupcake case. This is where your handle's going to go in. It's going to go in about 1 centimetre or so into the top of your case, but it's actually going to stick on both to the wall of the cupcake case and to some of those chocolates you've got in there. So dip either end of your handle into a generous amount of that white chocolate and then just sit it nicely on top. The white chocolate's going to act like a glue. The white chocolate that we've coated the marshmallow in is going to give those marshmallows enough support to act like a handle. Then I'm just going to take my paintbrush and I'm just going to fill in any gaps around where that handle is joining on to the cupcake case to make sure that I've got as much of a glue stick there as I possibly can. There you've got your completed giant cupcake case Easter basket. It's no bake, it's absolutely gorgeous. The little patterned cupcake case is a whole new technique that you can use for your giant cupcakes. I hope you guys have loved this tutorial. Make sure you check out our Easter playlist. Have a very happy Easter, and thanks very much for watching My Cupcake Addiction.